match with Whitaker or fight Israel?
It doesn't matter. Whoever has the belt is who I want to fight. I don't have any ill intent towards Whitaker for winning that fight. That's how it goes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I will hope nobody has any ill will towards me for winning fights. This is a job, so I'm not gonna, wish ill on anybody or want to be vindictive or vengeful against anybody. This is a job, and it happens. Somebody's gonna win, and somebody's gonna lose. Unfortunately, it was me that time. But if we were to fight again, it'll be nice to go at him again.
Yeah. By the way, though, how is your arm though? How did it feel tonight?
It felt fine.
Yeah.
I didn't have any issues with it. Of course, Kelvin didn't really exploit it. He didn't throw any kicks on that side or anything like that. But, I've blocked kicks with it. I posted on it. I fell on it and all kinds of stuff with this hand. So my arm is good to go.
And just going back to Karen's question about Izzy and Whitaker, how do you see yourself matching up if that Israel fight did play itself out?
I'm going to have to be a super smart fighter against him. He's super long. And, again, I still have a lot of work to do. I still got miles to go as far as getting better as a fighter. Not saying that I'm not ready for Izzy, because I know I can beat anybody. All I got to do is put my hands on him. All I got to do is get in the cage with him and just give me a shot. So in the meantime, I'm going to be getting better and better and better. And then by the time I meet him, hopefully I'm going to be so good that, it's going to be like a Super Saiyan versus, a human or something like that.
Nice. Well, I fully expect you to come up here with your crystals this time as well, Jared.
No
crystals this time. But listen, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations. It's funny, you're one of those guys who you are so respectful, and you sort of quietly, I feel like, made your way up the rankings, and certainly putting everybody on notice, though, that they should not sleep on you and definitely need to pay attention, right?
No, don't sleep on me, man. Or go ahead and sleep on me. I'll just,
put you to sleep.
Put you to sleep, exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jared. We know you got a lot to get to, so congratulations. Thanks for joining us in the depth. Guys, we are going to get to now Belal's teammate, Bahamondes, tonight with the huge knockout over Roosevelt Roberts.
Now, this is one of the best guys in the training room. This is my main training partner. We're not one of those big gyms where we don't know who the other guy is. This is my main guy. Like, I literally avoid trying to spar with this guy because of how good he is. And this guy's literally only 23 years old. We knew we had to do this fight. We had to avoid the ground. We knew that he'd be able to outstrike him. And then what did he do? He did one of the best knockouts of the year. We've heard of the Showtime kick. We've heard of the Barbosa Tirianum kick. This is the La Jaula kick.
Well,
this is Ignacio Bahamondes kick. This guy's 22 years old. He's leaving his mark. La Jaula. I'm going to say it again for you people right now.
It was just an incredible fight. I mean, if you guys did not see, Belal was in front of this monitor right here, just going nuts the entire time. You can see the emotion that he has. Somebody that he's trained with, and that kind of emotion. Just there we go.
Well, I was going to say, you bring it up. Exactly.
His pants are a little tight. He couldn't really do everything he wanted to do, but he was doing a little penguin dance right there, and he got to go jump into the cage, into the octagon. But it was such a fantastic fight, and what I loved about it is to see with 10 seconds left, he had the fight won. Bahamondes had the fight won, but he said, "I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for that home run shot right now." And he landed it. And that probably earned him $50,000 and a nominee at Knockout of the Year. It was a tremendous shot.
Well, Belal, put some context for it, because even Paulie Felder out there was saying, like, I don't like to go with this guy in the gym. I mean, what's sort of his trajectory been for you, and how much did you expect to actually see him pull one of these off?
It's one of those things where, like, you spar with this guy. He's not in the UFC. People don't know who he is, but you're getting beat up by him. Even Paul Felder is like, who's this guy? Why is this guy beating me up? Like, he's getting angry at it because he's like, if I'm losing to this guy, how am I going to do with the guys in the UFC? I'm supposed to be fighting RDA, and I'm losing to freaking Ignacio Bahamondes. Nobody knows who he is. But there's some killers at this gym right now. This kid's 23 years old. He's been training since he was 15 years old, and he just has that mentality where if you ever talk to this kid, like, there's no way you can love him. He's such a good kid, and he has a great head on his shoulders. And honestly, like, I tell people all the time, I tell John Anik all the time, I'm like, this kid is going to be a champion. This kid for sure is going to be a champion. And he had pressure this fight. There was a lot of, he missed weight his first fight in the UFC. He lost a savvy veteran like John McDessie. And, for a 23-year-old kid, you're in America by yourself. Your parents live in Chile. You're not here. You have nobody to cry on their shoulder or anything like that. So he's just a tough kid, and he showed out this night.
And what I love about this the most, to be honest, you said he's a 23-year-old
Yeah.
kid. Not many people knew that much about him going into this fight, and he might have just had his Joaquin Buckley moment. He might have just had his Edson Barboza moment, something that's going to be ingrained into the highlight reels of the UFC forever and ever. And the pay-per-views, they'll be showing this type of kick. It's a wonderful night for him.
Well, let's hear if he had anything nice to say about Bilal, because Ignacio stopped by to catch up with Laura after his victory. Let's take a listen.
Thank you so much, guys. Wow, just wow. You said you wanted to go out there and get a finish, and you went out there and did that. How good does that feel?
I feel awesome. Like everything of this moment is a bless for me. Like everything is happening in my life right now. Now is my dream is halfway coming true because my dreams are really big. But right now it's a really good moment. So we're gonna enjoy it for 24 hours and then into the next one.
Before we talk about this spectacular performance, I want to ask you about that walk. It was very emotional. What was going through your mind?
No, it was going like all the hard work, all the things I've been getting left behind, like things young people like me likes to do, like go out and have fun like that. And my family, leaving my family in my country, so it's really emotional. I'm a really emotional fighter, and right there I like to get it all out. So whenever I step in the cage, I'm all just cold-blooded.
Absolutely cold-blooded. And throughout the entire fight, you did a phenomenal job of keeping him corralled against the cage, using your strikes. Was that a big part of the game plan coming in, keeping him corralled?
Yeah. We always, as a team, we work in all the aspects of the fight game, and we were ready for everything. I know he was going to come hard, and we know it. So we just gotta stay positive, stay pushing, and put him on his back heel and attack him hard as I can.
That finish. Only the 10th wheel kick finish in the history of the UFC. I gotta believe you knew when that landed that you were gonna get it done.
Yeah. Whenever I saw it and I feel it on my hip, I throw it, and all I did was this because I know he was out. So no, it was a really good fight. I say thank you to Roosevelt because he gave me a really hard fight. He's a really tough opponent. Thank you to all my coaches, all my family, my Team BFS team, my dad, my mom, everybody in Chile supported me. All the Latin American people is with me. I feel every time I step in the cage, and I'm really happy for it. I'm really happy for represent like this my country and my Latin American blood.
I know Chile is on their feet right now, but more importantly, is Dad happy with this performance? I know he had some advice for you coming into this fight.
Yeah, he must be crying right now. I know him, he's emotional like me, so he's in Chicago waiting for me. So he come to visit me, so I'm happy. I'm excited to go back and give him a big hug and tell him I love him.
Congratulations. What a spectacular performance. Thank you so much, Ignacio. Thank you. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Laura, and congratulations to Ignacio. Here are the rest of the results from our prelims. Austin Lingo and Brian Kelleher picked up the unanimous decisions. Josiane Nunes got a great knockout, as did William Knight. We just heard about Bahamondes, and now we are going to get into the first fight of the night, which was a submission win for Brahimaj over Palatnikov. Bilal.
Yeah, this is another guy that I had the pleasure of training with. Ramiz is such a good kid. He's one of those guys where on the ground, he's a specialist. He's a dangerous guy. You know, he had a tough first fight against a savvy veteran like Max Griffin, and I told him, like, you did not shoot that fight. This fight, you better go in there and shoot. And then he said, this is my game plan today. I'm going to go in there right away. I'm going to take this guy down. I'm going to show the world who I am. And that's what he did. As you see right here, beautiful mount. He does the Dagestani handcuff, and he's not even Dagestani. He takes his back. You can tell he was going for the finish the whole time. Sasha was trying to fight it very tough. It was one of those guys where you had to put him to sleep. He was not going to tap. He fought hard until the end. But my man Ramiz, he just showed you guys that, you know, people were sleeping on his jiu-jitsu. He was underdogs, but this kid is dangerous. I'm telling you, I trained with this guy. and he's legit.
It was a great fight for him, but listen, we had one women's fight tonight, Alan, and Nunes overcame a huge height and reach deficit to get a knockout.
A huge, I mean, it was a 7-inch height or a 6-7-inch height reach differential. Nunes said, I'm just going to walk forward. I'm going to place those power punches on her chin and wait for the big tree to fall down. And that's exactly what happened. She stayed on her the entire night. I got to tell you, if I'm being honest, Malecki seemed a bit off tonight. The way that she was constantly covering, didn't have her hands up. The reason that she got knocked out, you see that? She kind of throws her right hand, touches her, and then Nunes follows with a counter over the top, lands on the chin, puts her away. A beautiful night for Nunes, and Malecki needs to go back to the drawing board and kind of figure out what went wrong tonight.
Well, speaking of a beautiful night, Alan, Bilal, listen, William Knight from Dana White's Contender Series put a stamp on it tonight with this knockout.
Yeah, this guy is dangerous. You know, when you look at this guy, you can just tell that he's just a big ball of muscle. Tyson Chartier just literally said he's the strongest guy that he's ever worked with. And he shows that. He puts that into everything he throws. Every time he goes there, he's standing there, he's smiling, he's comfortable in the cage right now. He's doing that lean back. Hit him with that lean back Adesanya hook. Put him to sleep. Look how perfect it is right there. Go back to Adesanya Whitaker. That was that lean back left hook. As you're going backwards, it just shows how much power this guy has. As he's moving backwards, he's laying, he's out of position, and he's still able to put this guy to sleep. And you look right here, Paul Felder, Daniel Cormier, these guys are going nuts. Then he hits the Gable Stevenson backflip. I'm like, how is this big dude doing his backflip? I can't even do a cartwheel.
You can't do a cartwheel?
No, I'm
gonna work on it. I'll work.
Yeah,
I'll
Mr.
work.
Cartwheel kick right
I'll
here.
work
Help
it
you
out.
out.
I'll work on it. Yeah, I mean, Knight came out and impressed. Fabio Charant is a really, really high-level striker. I've seen him fight in other organizations. When he gets going, he's very tough to deal with. And when Fabio Charant went down with that strike, he actually landed something of his own, but it just showed the power that Knight possesses. With it, like you said, it was a lean-back style left hook. His arm was straight. He really didn't have it fully chambered or loaded, but he was able to put Charant flat on his face and earn a big TKO tonight.
Unbelievable. Well, let's hear what he thinks about the victory. William stopped by to talk with Laura Cinco.
Well, thank you so much, guys. William, you said to me yesterday, I don't even try to hurt people, and look what happens. Imagine what's going to happen when I go out there and I try to mess this guy up. Is that exactly what you were envisioning when you were talking to me?
Exactly what I've been thinking since yesterday. Even before walking out, my coach was like, yo, you're not here to make friends. We'll worry about that after the fight. And that's exactly what I went out there to do, hurt somebody.
Well, just an absolutely incredible finish. But earlier in the fight, I mean, you were doing some good work with those leg kicks. Was that a big part of the game plan coming in?
Yeah, it was like cat and mouse. They told me that his game plan, he likes to stay patient and then pick his shots. So I said, okay, let me see what it is with him, like that throws, why he throws. He was real hesitant right there. I knew he was afraid of my power. And then I was going to throw a power shot, and it just reminded me, like, my coach said use speed. He stepped outside to throw the same overhand he landed the first time, and I threw my hook, and I just timed it.
And that hook, my friend, was not even like an elbow bent hook. It was a flat hook. It didn't even look like you were able to twist your hips, and you put him to sleep. How do you do that?
My coach told me that my speed is far more dangerous than my power, so I believe in his word and just reacted with speed.
Did you know when it landed that you would be walking away, seeing him on the canvas?
When I landed, I seen him fall, and I'm like, wait, my opponent should be standing there next to me. I see him in front of me, and I just hopped on, and I'm like, keep going until the ref stops it.
And that big man backflip, I mean, I'm not an Olympic judge, but if I was, you stuck that landing.
Yeah, everybody kept asking where the backflip went, and I'm like, I only throw him, but the first fight I couldn't, we're too sweaty and bloody. Second fight, bloody mess, and I'm like, I'll do it this time, so I gave it to him.
You got some air on that. That was impressive, I must say. After a win like that, what's the celebration going to be?
Just go back home and keep grinding. I feel like I need a little more because that overhand slipped through. I feel like I need to keep my hands up and stop pulling my chin back. It's just two things I need to start working on.
Tough to be critical of a performance like that, but, I mean, unbelievable finish. Thank you so much, William. Appreciate you.
Welcome. Everybody stand up back home at Connecticut.
That's right. Connecticut, stand up. Guys, thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Let's take a look at the Performance Awards tonight for UFC Vegas 34. Baja Mondays, Bilal, he's going to be buying at the gym when you get back. He's got opponent William Knight right there, who we just heard from. Josiane Nunes with her debut at the UFC with a knockout there, and Alexandre Pantoja, Allen. That is a performance bonus for him in a fight that a lot of us thought could have been fight of the night with Brandon Royval.
Yeah, I mean, that was one we were all very excited to watch, and it's a fight that also did not disappoint. It did not make it the entirety of the fight. We expected something to happen, somebody to get finished, and that's exactly what happened. But in the beginning of this fight, you got these guys ready to go, much anticipated. Dana White was building this fight up, and Royval was the one leading the pace, bringing that high energy, making a very tiring fight. They got interlocked right here in some leg lock exchanges. Pantoja, both of these men are high-level black belts. Both of these guys with a tremendous amount of submissions. But Pantoja kept his cool, and he kept getting the good positions right here. He would get the back, work around. Brandon Royval was able to stay alive for a while, but eventually he gave the back too many times. And when you go against a strangler like Pantoja, eventually this is what's going to happen. When he gets that locked in right there and he starts to squeeze, you're going to go to sleep. This guy has 8 submissions, 8 knockouts. Make it 9 submissions now. I believe 7 of those from rear naked choke. So that's a position, Alexandre Pantoja, you do not want to have him on your back. The inevitable will occur, but it was a fantastic fight for what we had of it.
Yeah, you know, Royval is one of those guys who loves chaos, but sometimes when you do too much chaos, you get caught in bad positions. When you're going against a guy like Pantoja, who lives in the darkness as well, he loves those chaotic fights, and he loves scrambles, and he just caught the right moment. You know, we saw him at the beginning of the first round. He had his back, but Royval got out. This time, second round, he did not let him get out. He put that choke in, he put him to sleep, and this guy deserves the title fight. I'm gonna say it for him. He was Mr. Nice Guy, but Pantoja deserves that title fight.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you here. So when we look at most flyweight wins now, the most was 13 for Demetrius Johnson and Joe Benavidez, 9 for Figueiredo and Formiga. Now Pantoja is tied with a couple of other guys with 8 wins, the most in the flyweight division. And Alan, like Bilal said, he was so polite, and Brandon Moreno is here in the building. They've already fought a couple of times, but it does sort of seem like maybe he should get a shot.
He should. I mean, he's the guy right now. I mean, you look at the numbers right now. You look at and he's the guy that can say, "Look, I've already beaten Brandon Moreno twice before. Now let's have that third fight. Let's see what's really going to happen." But I mean, that was a great performance. It was 2 guys a highly anticipated fight. And for him to get a decisive win, to get the submission, I think it propels him forward for that shot.
All right. Well, let's take a look at our results for our main card. It was an exciting night here in Vegas. We had a couple of decisions on the card, but for the most part, we had a lot of finishes here. And one of the decisions, though, was in our co-main event. That's when Mark O. Madsen picked up the victory over Clay Guida. But we did have Vince Pichel picking up a win as well. But listen, let's get into this one, Alan, because Guida was pretty mad. He really thought he did enough to win, but Mark O. Madsen got the victory.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one, another one we were very much excited about. You see Guida getting pumped up by his brother right there, as he always does. They came in. Guida was doing what he does best. Non-stop movement, non-stop chaos the entire time. Marco Madsen trying to get in and trying to clinch him up, get into that Greco-Roman wrestling stance that he normally does and normally gets the takedowns. Guida showing, as he said that he would, look, this isn't a wrestling match, this is an MMA fight. He's not going to be able to just out-wrestle me. And he did very good. Kept the fight on the feet, landed the right hand. But the thing that really caught my eye, Karen, the most was Marco Madsen's improvement in striking. I think all of us were a bit surprised by that when we were watching this fight. We're saying, look, Marco Madsen has very long arms. He utilizes it very well. And you can see just an understanding during this fight of the striking department. The way that he was kind of moving side to side, finding the right angles, closing distance, and then using that reach. Towards the end of the fight, the third round, you started to really see him letting his hands go and using that reach to his advantage. So I think we're seeing in the time off that Marco Madsen had and all that chaos and things that he had to go through, he was also able to improve as a fighter and get this big, much-needed win.
Yeah, I think it was actually perfect that he couldn't get a takedown because it made him work on his stand-up.
Right?
Forced him to work on his stand-up. Yeah. And it's not like you're going against a guy with one-punch knockout power. So you can stand there, trade in the pocket with Guida for a little bit and have a little fun in there. I feel like he got a little bit loose in there when he would throw his hands. He showed that he does have long reach. He does have a sneaky good kick. And, his stats sneakily added up. I was sitting there looking at it like, wait, he had over 100 significant strikes in that fight, or 50, 80s. I was like, man, that's pretty good. And he took a couple hard shots. Guida threw a couple hard right hands. Madsen still stayed tough in him. He showed that he doesn't need wrestling to beat you. He doesn't need to take you down to beat you. He can beat you in the stand-up as well.
But the question to you, though, is Bilal, going into this, and we know Mark O. Madsen, a Greco-Roman wrestler, we figured maybe he would kind of tie him up, grapple with him a little bit more against the cage there, and we didn't really see him lock up too much with Clay. Were you surprised by that?
I mean, just the way Clay is, he's so fidgety, he's so moving. He's like a Tasmanian devil. When you're trying to grab onto a guy like that and he's moving, I thought he fought smart, where he's like, you know what, I'm not going to keep wasting my energy trying to grab him. I'll just keep jabbing him and keep kicking him and let him do all the movement. I'm just going to stay in the lane, cut him off, stay in front of his face. Like, Guida was doing a lot of movement, but there was really nothing coming from that movement. You know, it was just kind of like shiny mirrors or whatever that is.
Yeah, smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, yeah, where you really couldn't see what was going on with
Shiny mirrors are what you're always ripping in that backstage. Shiny mirrors for Bilal. Look at how good I
And
look.
look, Guida, he warms up so much,
Yeah,
and he's getting slapped by his brother, and he's swinging his hair around, and it's total chaos. By the time the first round bell rings, he's dripping in sweat already. So it makes it very tough when you're a Greco guy, used to getting those overhooks, underhooks, and you're trying to get a hold of someone. You can't hold on to Guida when he's bobbing and weaving, and he's slippery the entire time. And he kind of used that to his advantage. He never really let Mark corner him against the octagon wall.
Yeah, that is true. Clay is very, very hard to tie down. Well, we do know going into this fight, Mark O. Madsen had a world of things on his shoulders, and he did say that he was fighting to tell his wife and to prove to her that anything is still possible. Certainly, I'm imagining, guys, there's a lot on his mind. Let's listen to what he said when he stopped by to talk with Laura.
Thank you so much, guys. Well, Mark, you remain undefeated, and again, given all that you have been through to get to this moment, you talked about how much this win meant to you. Can you put into words what it felt like to get that win tonight?
I can't describe it. I mean, it's not about being undefeated. It wasn't about winning or losing. It was about being here, showing my wife that we could return to fighting, that we could return to doing what we really love and what we believe in, what we're dreaming of. So, you know, man, just a moment. And my wife is probably sleeping at home in Denmark, but
She's not sleeping. She's not.
she gets very nervous when I'm fighting, I can tell you. But I'm so proud, and I really hope that this will show, you know, my entire family that we can keep on pushing forward.
You showed a lot tonight, and it was a very tough fight. When they were reading those scorecards out, were you confident that you'd get the decision?
Absolutely not. I mean, I'm fighting Clay Guida. We knew from the beginning that Clay has an amazing gas tank. He has outstanding cardio. He's a highlight fighter. I mean, this is my third season as a professional MMA fighter. I've been out a year, and I really had to scramble to get ready for this fight. Going into the fight, I had no idea what to expect. People kept saying, you have better wrestling, but it actually turned out to be a stand-up fight, right? So I can't believe that this actually happened. It's just amazing.
Well, your jab was on point the entire fight, and really your ability also to just keep him on his heels. Was that the plan coming in? Because I imagine part of fighting Clay Guida is figuring out how to find him, how to corral that crazy movement.
Yeah, he's kind of hard to get a hold of and game plan because he has like this cardio, and he's a great wrestler, and he fights coming forward, he fights going backwards. I mean, the game plan was, like I said, it was close the distance, throwing a couple of good knees. I hit him with a couple of good knees, and you know, it was just a fight from there. He's an absolutely stud, and I have to be honest, I took home a victory tonight, but it was an absolutely honor fighting a guy that I used to watch, you know, before I actually turned professional MMA fighter. I mean, this guy's been fighting as long as my head coach, Martin Kampmann, right, back from Denmark. So it's just crazy, and it's an honor.
You did it. You took out a legend, and then you called out Gregor Gillespie. A great name, a great matchup. When would you like to fight him? How soon?
I can't actually remember that part of the last thing I did in there. I think I was just hyped. But, you know what?
You called him out for sure.
Okay, but let's go, man. He's been going at it with being the best wrestler in the division, and he's a great wrestler, and this is about competing. You know, Greco versus freestyle, folk style. Let's go.
I can't wait to see it. Mark, congratulations. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, UFC, and the entire team for this amazing opportunity.
Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Laura. I was just wondering if someone could find my wallet to take the money for that matchup of him versus Gregor Gillespie.
I'll take that all day. I mean, you're talking about, like you said, an Olympian in Greco versus a freestyle. And look, Gillespie is just a nonstop guy, always shooting to take down nonstop. that would be, I mean, that'd be a fight that everybody would have eyes on. You want to see who really is one of the best grapplers in the division. But I just want to say one thing about Marco Madsen. It's a heartwarming story to see him after all that he's been through, to get this victory. It was such a hard fight to watch. You have the beloved,
Clay Guida. Who do you root for?
You got Clay Guida, and then everybody loves watching him. You have Marco Madsen coming from everything that he's had and then getting the victory. And he's just an honest guy and just a heartwarming story. So he's a guy that I'm going to be rooting for moving forward.
Yeah, I know we both picked against him, but I was happy that he won. I'm mad that my pick lost, but how can you not be happy for a guy like that? And the big thing that I caught from him calling out Gillespie is that he's trying to call out these top contenders, guys that people are afraid to fight. Nobody wants to fight Gillespie. He's one of the most dangerous guys in the division. Is the hardest style matchup in the division, and that's what he wants. He wants that guy. I'm 11-0 right now. Nobody can beat me. I want to test my wrestling against your wrestling. That's going to be a great fight. Sign me up.
Would be a great fight as well. And even though he did lose, Clay Guida in the record books now the 9th fighter in UFC history to log more than 6 hours of fight time inside the octagon. And that happened when there was 13 seconds left of round 2. Clay got on the board there. So congrats to Clay on that one. Guys, let's look at a couple of other highlights from our main card. Bilal Kakhramonov against Jones. Kakhramonov coming in on his debut and getting a heck of a finish.
Yeah, this is one of those guys who took a fight on 4 days' notice. I've actually seen this guy in a smaller circuit in Chicago. He's fought. He's one of those guys that always goes for the finish. This guillotine was super tight. Trevin Jones showed that he had pretty good jits. He didn't want to let go. Trevin Jones was trying to stay tight with him the whole time, but Rakhmonov, he's always fishing for that finish. No matter whether the third round, second round, I thought he won the first 2 rounds. But in his third round, he still wanted to go for this finish. It just shows me that he trains hard all year round because he was in the right shape to be able to go for a finish in the third round when you take a fight on 4 days' notice.
Yes, welcome to the UFC, Kakhramonov. But listen, Alan Jouban from Hell Pichel came back and got the victory over Austin Hubbard tonight.
From Hell is now out of Colorado.
Yes, from Colorado.
I don't know if he changed his name, but the mustache has gotten longer when he moved to Colorado. But look, he's still got that From Hell in him. He's a dog in a fight. He said that at the end of this fight. That not a lot has changed in this short amount of time since he switched camps. They made minor tweaks, but he's the type of guy that loves these type of dog fights. He's great in the clinch, as you see right there. He will get a hold of you. He will throw the knees up the middle and then finish with the elbows. But this is what I think Vince Michelle does the best. When he lets his hands go, and he did just that in the later rounds, the second and the third round, really started unloading with the hands, got that 30-27 victory, and a very big win of a very game opponent, Austin Hubbard.
And in our featured Freeland Bilal, it was in the featherweight division. Austin Lingo picked up the UD win over Luis Saldana.
This was another one of those fights I was very excited for. The first round, Saldana looked like a killer. He was out there, hit him to the body a couple of hard times where I thought he almost finished him. But Lingo just showed his toughness right there. He trains at Fortis MMA. Those guys over there, they go hard every single time. You saw Safe Saud in the corner. He willed his fighter to victory. He told this guy, stay in his face. Keep going for it. He almost finished him right there with a jab to the body. When it's the third round, it's all about toughness, and he showed that he outlasted him.
I love that you brought that up. So I'm sorry, Karen.
Yeah.
In between rounds, you saw Safe. I did the walk with him. You saw what type of coach he is. And the thing that I took from it is that he tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. He did just that, man. His fighter wasn't performing how he needed. He got into his face in between the first and the second round. You saw him come out in that second round fighting like a different guy. And I got to say, it was kind of a missed opportunity for Saldana because he had Lingo hurt in that first round. He got a little too creative. I think he wanted to match that spinning back heel kick, get a $50K bonus, but he lost position, got hurt, and ended up inevitably losing the fight.
Yeah, note to young fighters, sometimes you should stick to the basics. The basics are what's going to get you
Take
done,
that
right?
path to victory.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple. And last thing I want to say is from Hell Pichel. Vince Pichel had a great quote. He said, beware of an old man in a profession where men usually die young. And remember, we were thinking